SoCal American 1925 out of 28.6, descending via the Hollywood one, we have Yankee.
American 1925, SoCal approach Zulu's current for LA, cleared for ILS runway 25 left, maintain 280 knots.
Cleared ILS 25 left and 280 knots, American 1925.
Airlines 141, reduce speed to 250.
Hey, Florida 250, Spirit 141.
Let's go to 5522, 1,800 descending on the arrival of the Hope
Gus 5522, SoCal approach. Zulu is now current, expect runway 24 right.
24 right, we'll expect that. We'll pick up Zulu scale 5522.
Spirit 141, correct SoCal 24-9.
Hey, 24-9, Spirit 141.
Virgin 7 Bravo Heavy, contact approach 128.5.
And Center Delta 1174 is vacating 280, descending on the Angel 4.
Delta 1174, SoCal approach, good morning, cleared ILS, runway 24 right.
Cleared ILS 24 right, Delta 1174.
SoCal, going to Gulfstream 117, Whiskey Romeo, flight level 270, descending via the Angel with information, Yankee.
Gulfstream 117, Whiskey Romeo, SoCal approach, thank you. You are cleared ILS, runway 25 left.
Go to the ILS 25 left, Whiskey Romeo.
7 Whiskey Romeo, Los Angeles information. Zulu is current altimeter 2990.
K90 now, we'll go get Zulu for Whiskey Romeo.
American 1029, reduce to 250.
250.
Sounds 1454, SoCal approach. Expect runway 248, Zulu's current.
Alright, 24 right, Zulu's up.
SoCal approach Delta 1333. Just want to confirm our speed was 280 until 10,000.
Delta 1333, actually 280 until Cebu, then reduce speed to 250.
Okay, 280 till Cebu and then reduce 250, Delta 1333.
Thank you. American 1029, contact SoCal on 124.9, good day.
249, we'll see American 1020. SoCal, American 23.
Los Angeles, Southwest 1454. Can we put a approach request with you, or is that next controller?
It depends. How may I help?
Looking for the RNAV Zulu to 24 right.
Delta 1333, SoCal 128.5.
Zulu, 24 right.
128.5, 1333.
SoCal approach, Japan Air 60, descend via the IMR arrival, expect 3000, information Zulu.
Spinner 60, heavy SoCal approach, reduce speed to 250. You can eventually expect 24 right.
Japan Air 60, reduce speed 250 knots and expect 24 right. Confirm, descend via the IMR down to 6000.
Japan Air 60, heavy negative, descend via except maintain 3000.
Connected to PilotEdge.
Japan Air 60, descend via star, expect 3000, speed 250 knots.
Got 5522, contact approach 128.5.
28 is 15, Scott 5522, so.
Number 902, Sierra X-ray SoCal.
American 1925, contact SoCal 24.9.
SoCal 24.9, American 1925.
SoCal, Southwest 1441, through the passenger 27-2, descending via the Hollywood.
All right. Let's get this plane ready to roll. Turn on the batteries. External power is available, so we'll turn that on.
SoCal 429, radar contact.
Oh, dude.
SoCal approach to be 1 Bravo Delta, suspended to 6,000 over 3,000. And
Get the IRSs aligned. Or at least start the process. Bring up this flight on my laptop here. We are at Los Angeles. This is the Mr. X high definition LAX. We're at Terminal 7. So, boarding process is started. So we'll come in here. So, today's flight. Actually, I don't have any info on fuel or anything, so let's get that figured out. So this is the flight plan, 106 passengers, 10.6 thousand pounds of cargo, 32,000 feet. Let's generate that. This thing's slow, huh? So I need 12,000 pounds of fuel, so since this plane is kilograms, let's go 5,800. 5.8 is 12,786. So we have a tad bit more fuel and zero fuel weight. It's 125.9 equals to 57,107. And that's kilograms. I have all this in pounds. I know I could change it, but I just like, it doesn't bother me to change it to the kilograms. 125.9 is 57,107. So let's look at ATIS. So Los Angeles, altimeter 29990. And we are departing 25, right? Current with Victor. But I'm going to listen to ATIS. I'm not going to worry about that. Just wanted to find out what they're doing. San Francisco is landing on the 28s, departing on the 1s. So we'll plan for 28. So we'll file, no comments, 32,000, slant Lima, United 1399, IFR, file, done. Here's the map. Here we are, United 1399. Takes a second for the flight plan to show up. Alright, so back in the bus. So the screen should come back here in a second. There we go. So 5.8. And we are toting 106 passengers. So now I gotta bust out that calculator. So 57,107, which is the zero fuel weight, minus 51,148, plus the 1,000 I left in cargo. That gives me 6,959. So now my my zero fuel weight should match SimBrief 57,107, which it does. So we do 57.1 and 26.8. So that's the two numbers you need for the McDo, 57.1, 26.8, and the center of gravity is a little bit behind the wing, so it will make for a quick nose up takeoff. You know, make the flaring easier too, since the CG is behind the middle of the wing. Hey Fiverr, how you doing, bud? How are you this Tuesday afternoon, buddy? Alright, so let's get the APU going. And Fiverr with the subscription. Hey, thanks, bud. Appreciate that. You got your free sub ready, so it's all yours. Oh man, that's awesome. Thank you. M9, how are you this afternoon? It's going well? Did heavy metal 2 in a row. I did the Flight Factor 767 last evening. Do the Airbus today, and then we'll go back to GA tomorrow. I was actually going to fly the some GA today, but I was going to fly in the Eagle, but the wind was whipping in the Eagle, so I decided to do this one instead. Originally I was going to do FS Economy, but I'll do that tomorrow if the winds die down. Let's get the sub train going. Yeah, that's right. Alright, so close that window. Bleeds are good. Environment's working. APU gen's available. Disconnect external power. GPU can be removed. Now we're running off the APU gen, which also supplies air conditioning. And we'll do seatbelt full up on position. And thank you, M9, also for the 2-month concurrent Prime subscription. For y'all that don't know, if you are a Amazon Prime member, you can support your favorite streamer channel once a month for free, and that's what M9 just did. The streamer gets their normal cut, but it's free to the viewer, and much appreciated, M9. That was very nice. Okay, so we got that. Let's go to tablet. We are at LAX. We are at gate 74. So we're right here. So we would fall between 7.2 and 7.7. So we'll put that there. Come down here and we'll get this set up. Fiverr says October 14th is when the new VATSIM code comes out. If you're feeling like flying on VATSIM during that day, we should have DC staffed up. Yeah, I do. I'm planning on catching up with you on a Wednesday for sure. And I do have the 14 wrote down as when it will be live, because I think the 13th at, I can't remember the actual time, but there's like a 24-hour span. I think VATSIM will be offline to port over the new voice code. So that's cool. And I think you're going to have to, at least with X-Plane, you have to use Squawk Box as well as the standalone program for VATSIM. In case anybody's wondering, I'm currently on PilotEdge, which is what I normally fly, but in the evenings and on VATSIM events, I like to fly on VATSIM. This new code is just awesome. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the 14th. Alright, so go to init. We're going to do Los Angeles to SFO. I'll manually put it in. I had a company route, but I'll just manually do it. It's just a sit-in star anyway. So we're going to file for 320. I can change that if I don't get it, but it should be right. Now this is where the GPS comes into play. We're at 74, so 33.56.5. So that's correct. 33.56.5. 118.24. So let's bring that down to that 118.24.0. So we want to align on the ref. And now we're good for GPS purposes. Subtrain arriving. That's funny. Alright, so I got the McDo set. Now, could look up here for the, so I got 29.88 on the altimeter. I need to dial in ATIS for Los Angeles 13565. 3565. Pop that out.
Runways are in progress. Simultaneous instrument departures in progress. VFR departures, contact clearance delivery, advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Victor. Los Angeles International Airport.
Make sure 25 right is still available.
1753 Zulu. Wind 160 at 3. Visibility 10. Few clouds at 2000. Few clouds at 3300. Temperature 22. Dew point 10. Altimeter 2990. Arriving runways 4 right. 25 left. Departing runways 24 left. 25 left. 25 right. ILS runway 24 right and.
Alright. So PilotEdge, they put out real world weather, and I run real world weather also, but it's about 10 minutes behind. So I'm currently 29.88, even though ATIS said 29.90, but that's such a small amount difference that it's not going to be noticeable on the scope, so that doesn't really matter. Alright, so clearance is 120.35. And ground is 12175. GPS primary, and clear that out. And let me check the what's it called? The Make sure my flight plan showed up. Morning, Los Angeles. Clearance. United 1399 at the terminal with Victor. IFR San Francisco.
United 1399 Los Angeles clearance clear to San Francisco Airport. Summer 1 departure. Stoke transition that is filed. Climb via SID except maintain 5000. Departure frequency 125.2. Squawk 2040.
Clear to San Francisco via the Summer 1 departure. Stoke transition then is filed. Climb via the SID except maintain 5000. Departure 125.2. Squawk 2040. United 1399.
United 1399, are that correct?
Alright, so that's correct. So we can switch over to ground. Tower is 120.95, so get that ready. You're starting tower training tonight, Fiverr? That's awesome, man. Did you have to take like a written test to get past the ground training, ground level training for VATSIM ATC controller training? In case other people were wondering. Drev 99. How you doing, bud? Regular XP11 clouds kill my FPS. Any fix? You just may want to check your settings. Like the stock clouds should be the easiest on frames, and my graphics are this. So textures you want in about, you know, the high, but it, you know, it also depends on your system. But this is what I run. But stock clouds shouldn't give you too much of an FPS. Maybe it's the actual airport you're at causing the issue. And Gizmo, how are you this afternoon, bud? There are written tests for each position, at least DC, ARTCC. I would suspect that most of the VATSIM Tracons would have testing for you guys, because it's a lot to learn, and they want to make sure that you retain what they teach you in the lower levels. So, so we got what we filed. So we're going to take off. 25 right. Summer 1. Stoked transition. So we have the runway 25s, the SID Summer 1, Stoked transition. Insert that. And we're going to do 28 left. And I filed, as you'll see, the Surfer. I think it's the Surfer 3 arrival. And so it'll be Surfer 3. Would be from Eddie. So the trans. There is no trans, that's right. So get rid of that disco. And we'll check all the waypoints, but that's more than likely going to be correct. And how does one sign up for ATC training? It looks like Fiverr hit it right on the nail there. Awesome. Thanks for helping out. I know there's quite a few people that have interest in both ATC and piloting. I only do the piloting part, but I have total respect for the controllers because I couldn't do it. There's no way I could do that. I just don't have the patience. I get mad at myself if I mess up. Alright, so let's look at the departure. Let's do init, wind, init page 2 for our weights, 57.1, 26.8, it goes up there, 5.8 for fuel, 50 minutes extra, that's fine. To 630 feet AGL for thrust climb. We're gonna blast out of here at 200 knots.
Strike 1-1, Silverbow ground clearance on request.
The decision for 28 left is a Cat 2, which is probably 100 radar altitude, which it is. So we're gonna do 100 AGL radar altitude for decision height, and that's radar, that's not MSL. And then we'll come here to 510 for go around, 500 feet AGL, climb thrust, 1000 feet AGL for one engine out. So that's all set. I'll pop this out. And I'll bring out the table. We're doing the summer 1. So it looks like Docker will be the first one, below 3,000. It's already there. Fiverr says ATC on PilotEdge is restricted to real-world FAA-trained individuals or people that have been controlling on a different network for a very long time and have a lot of experience. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There's a lot of good controllers on VATSIM, but you'll find the most knowledgeable controllers as the higher up they go. So like departure and arrivals and centers are the most trained on VATSIM, but everybody on PilotEdge would be the equivalent to a center on VATSIM. Everybody on PilotEdge. Alright, Doctor, EVOS, 5,000 is the top for that, EVOS. And then Dark, and then Summer, and then Olaf, Horizon. And then Stoked, Splint, Stoked. And we're gonna pick up the Surfer 3.
Can you get a reback strike on?
Strike 1-1, reback correct.
Thank you.
Surfer 3. From Surfer to Gnarly. So that's 280 as it's shown here. Above flight level 200, so we're at 224. And then we have waves 280 knots, that's right, it's 16, between 15 and 190. And then Epic 280, between 10 and 15. It shows 12.9, so that's fine. And then Gnarl, and then Eddie at 6,000, 240. I'm probably going to slow it down at Eddy, so I want 190. Actually, got 6 miles from Gnarl. Let me check an approach real quick. So Eddy, I have basically 10 miles to slow down. It shows less than 240, so I'm going to put in 200 for Eddy. That will help slow the plane down. So the approach would be ILS 28 left in most cases. Full approach from Eddy. So here's Eddy and then Gnarl. Oh. Sidby, which is here. And then Heeman, which is where we'll intercept the localizer. And we'll take the ILS all the way down. So the flight plan is valid. We're good there.
Ground circle 1. Come down to South Transient and taxi with the weather.
Well, that's fine. And yeah, like you say, Fiverr, the PE guys, PilotEdge guys, you know, like VATSIM, everybody's it's volunteer, you know, they do it to learn and transition it to real world type stuff. But PilotEdge controllers are paid, so you know you get what you pay for. You want people on PilotEdge knowing what they're doing because you're paying for that service. All right, so I need my takeoff. So here's our takeoff weight, 62,907. And of course that's in kilograms, so 62,907. Alright, so now I need to get my flex temperature. So we'll come here to performance, do KLAX. Making sure these weather conditions are accurate. 29er. I'm showing 2989. Winds 280 at 5, so that's right. And then the takeoff weight is 138,686. And then you need runway information, so we're going to be doing 25 right. So we come down to the airport information. 25 right, TODA, that's the number you need. That means take off distance available. LDA is landing distance available. So you'll notice the LDA is shorter than the takeoff, because there's an obstacle area on the airport. So I'll show you what I mean.
Runway 32, cleared for takeoff. Wind data is not available, change to departure.
LAX.
Clear takeoff 32, circle and change to departure.
So the airport, for example, see this little area? They don't consider this area as landing distance. This is for obstacle clearance, like, you know, there's roads and power lines and such. So that's why the LDA, the landing distance, is not as long as the takeoff distance. So we're going to stick with the takeoff distance for 25 right. And I'll plug that in here. It's 251 for the runway heading. Then we'll calculate. And that takes into account all the weather. So 154.
Strike 11 Nels, departure, radar contact.
And 157 is V2. And 67 is our flex temperature. Alright, so
Strike 1-1, contact Oakland Center,
come down our
125.75.
performance. It's 154. Oh, 154 and 157, I think. 57 and 67. Put that there. So I got the flex temperature in. V speeds are done. I need to turn on the fuel pumps.
Santa Barbara clearance delivery.
We're going to climb via the SID, but
Papa Whiskey is type Cessna 172/Golf.
Top altitude's 5,000.
5,500. Information Quebec.
Number 895 Papa Whiskey, Santa Barbara clearance after departure, flat runway heading, maintain VFR at or below 1,500 until advised. Departure frequency 120.55.
So we're going to climb via the SID, but maintain 5,000. So we have to make sure we're under 3,000 at Docker,
maintain VFR
but not go any higher than 5,000 until SoCal clears me higher. And then he might just tell me to climb via the SID. I don't know. We'll find out what departure wants us to do once we start talking to departure. And we'll go. Tell all these troopers to go away. And you'll see here the brake pressure is low. So go to hydraulics, pop that out, turn on the yellow pump to 3,000 PSI, turn them back off, and that fixes the brake pressure issue. And then we come to electric, and we will brief the flight at this point. So like it's Terminal 7, so we're going to taxi down to 25 right. So 25 right, climb heading 251 to 640 feet, then direct to Docker. So top altitude is 230 for the SID, unless otherwise instructed, which he'll tell me to climb higher than that before I even get there. So I'm going to take off here, follow these waypoints all the way up to stoked transition. That's what these are. These are transitions.
Santa Barbara ground, November 895 Papa Whiskey, ready to taxi with information Quebec. We're over
so
by Atlantic.
Summer 1.
Papa Whiskey, Santa Barbara ground, runway 25, taxi via Bravo Alpha Golf.
Taxi via runway 25 via Bravo Alpha Golf.
See, all these transitions. So they're all the Summer 1 departure with different transitions. So this would be stoked, or you have scatter, so we could do. Let me turn that. See, there's one here, Ficky. See, that's a transition. So in your McDo, your FMC, whatever you use for your airliners, that's how you figure out the transition, is by these waypoints. And then we're going to pick up the Surfer 3, look at these altitudes and speeds as we're coming down.
Clearance delivery.
Pick up the 28 left into San Francisco.
John Wayne Airport for the Cat 10.
We'll land 28 left, take the high speed off, and we'll park right here, which is the United Airlines terminal.
Departure frequency 127,
and
correction
that's the
124.7,
overview.
squawk 3306.
Departure frequency is 124.7 and squawk 3306 for 9er Alpha November.
9er Alpha November, read back correct.
Alright, so let's close up the airplane. Emergency generator test. We're going to get some alarms going off. Press and hold the clear button for about 2 seconds. And then that will go back to the normal, and then we can check FADIC, which is our engine displays.
Camarillo ground, Cessna Skyhawk 119er Alpha November, ready to taxi with the weather, November, and VFR departure to the east.
We're 119er Alpha November, Camarillo ground, runway 26, taxi via Foxtrot Alpha.
Taxi runway 26 via Foxtrot Alpha for 9er Alpha November.
Alright, so now we can...
Yes, Captain. We are waiting for your instruction. Ground to flight deck.
All
holds and hatches are closed.
Alright, so we
Walk
can pre-plan the pushback.
Ground to cockpit.
That looks fine.
Call me through the menu when you are ready.
Start the pushback.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Go to the flight attendant panel.
Tower, Skyline 8780
Lower the
Alpha,
lights.
10 miles north, inbound full stop with uniform.
There's no one behind us that we're going to push into.
Last aircraft calling, say again your call sign only.
It's 878 Sierra Alpha, we're 10 miles north of Carlsbad.
You're 8780 Alpha, Palomar Tower, enter right traffic, runway 24.
I've grown to really enjoy this view. It's pretty cool. It actually gives depth perception even on a monitor.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Usually you have to wear VR to get anything close to this type of depth perception. It's pretty nifty.
Sean Wayne clearance, .com 429.
So for engine start, you want to go to init, page 2, you update your fuel, so I'm going to go low side to 5.6. It's what's remaining, so we're going to do 5.6, plug that in, that will adjust the times. Leave it on init page 2 where it's at, because once the engine starts, it will automatically switch to the fuel prediction page, at which time a CG number will pop up and we can use that for trim purposes.
So connected and bypass pin inserted.
.com 429 after departure, fly heading 175, fly up to 5,000 feet, departure 128.1, squawk 3233.
Rock on 429, read back correct.
Camarillo Tower, Skyhawk 119er Alpha November, holding short 26, ready for departure.
119er Alpha November, Camarillo Tower, runway 26, clear for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 26 for 9er Alpha November.
Alright, so we can go to ignition 2. Roll on 2. See the hydraulics. I like to watch hydraulics on the bottom. About 20 N2 is when the engine actually kicks on. Check, make sure it doesn't hot start on you, which I've never seen it happen, but I guess it's possible. Generator available will come up in a second. There we go. So we'll start engine 1. crew supply oxygen.
Sean Wind ground,
Waiting for that gen to come available.
Ready to taxi.
There it goes.
Stockholm 429, John Wayne ground, runway 20 right at Kilo, taxi via Alpha Kilo, hold short, runway 20 left.
Connecting tow, stand by.
Flaps 1, spoilers armed. That would give us a 1+F takeoff config, which is 1 notch of slats, 1 notch of flaps.
Taxi to 20 right at Kilo via Alpha Kilo, hold short of 20 left.
Check our wipers in case it rains. Always check avionics, so we're facing 210, so that matches. Make sure everything's working. Alright, now we come down here and we think about trim. So we go to, I have this cheat sheet. So we have 26.3. So the closest one would be 26.5.
Santa Barbara Tower, November
so we're going to use up
Papa Whiskey, holding short runway 25. Would like to also request the CAT
disconnected and by
November 895 Papa Whiskey.
Plug that in there.
Runway 25, clear for takeoff.
We'll see you next time.
Trim up 0.4.
Or 9 Alpha, November.
And you can see how close that is because it shows here up 0.4.
Yeah, verified transponder, just turned it on.
So that chart works pretty well. It might be off by 1 every now and then, but... Alright, so let's go to flight controls. And first thing, you don't want to move nose wheel steering if this guy is still connected. It will mess up the steering. So I always wait through my flight control checks until after he's departed, and that way I won't have any steering issues. When you do the rudder test, if that thing is connected, it locks the steering sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So let's come down here and we need to squawk.
Papa Whiskey, contact Santa Barbara departure.
Over to departure, 5 Papa Whiskey.
Squawk 2040. Alright, and now we can do...
November 895 Papa Whiskey, Santa Barbara departure, radar contact, resume on navigation, climb VFR at your discretion.
Turn off the APU, turn on the pitot heat. Landing lights are in this position, they're dropped down, but they're not on. So like you'll see on the outside. Those are the takeoff. Those are the landing lights. You can close them by doing that.
I was just wondering if you're going to begin your taxi. It's been a few minutes.
Yeah, sorry, I was just running through some checklists back on 429.
See, it's gone.
You want to do that before you call us next time.
So that's why you just get them ready to turn on, drop them down. Another kind of cool feature to the Airbus.
Palomar Tower 8780 Alpha, short final, runway 24.
Let's do terrain mode.
Alpha, Palomar Tower, runway 24, clear to land.
Squawk and Charlie.
780.
So now we need ATIS.
Los Angeles International Airport. ATIS information, Victor. 1853 Zulu. Wind 270 at 5. Visibility 10. 3,400 scattered. Ceiling 4,400 broken. Temperature 23.
Nothing's changed in that regard.
Altitude 29 or 9 or 0. Arriving runways 24 right, 25.
Like I said, my sim is showing 8.8. Actually, no, it's up to 8.9, so we'll readjust it. Looks like my sim caught up. So we'll go with ATIS. Current with Victor. So we have a cabin check, but I'll do that before we take off. We'll get our taxi clearance here in a second. Los Angeles ground, United 1399 at Terminal 7, current with Victor, ready to taxi.
United 1399, LA ground, runway 25 right, taxi via Charlie 6 Bravo.
25 right via Charlie 6 Bravo, United 1399. Alright, So Bravo is
Palomar Tower 8780 Sierra Alpha, clear the runway
the
going east, transient.
second taxi
Sierra
line.
Alpha taxi via Alpha to the ramp.
Alpha to the ramp.
This is Charlie. So Bravo is after that, where that bus is going.
John Wayne ground, DECOM 429, holding short 20 left at Kilo.
DECOM 429, roger, change the tower frequency 126.8 when you're ready.
Over to tower, DECOM 429.
This airport looks really nice at nighttime.
429, runway tower, cross runway 20 left at Kilo. Runway 20 right at Kilo, clear for takeoff.
DECOM 429, cleared across 20 left at Kilo, cleared for takeoff, 20 right at Kilo.
Number 9 Alpha November, contact SoCal approach 134.2.
Alright. Tower is 120.95. Departures SoCal 125.2, and we will be departing on the Summer 1 departure. So when you first contact departure, you let them know which SID you're assigned, so they know which way you're going. I mean, it's already in the flight plan, but it helps reinforce that everybody's on the same page. So once you're transferred to departure, you always say the SID that you are currently flying.
Alpha November, roger, report established on the coastal route at 5,500, remain outside class Bravo airspace, still advised.
It's like that maintenance ramp or something.
9 Alpha November, roger, report established on the coastal route, remain outside Bravo until advised.
Alright, so what we got? We have auto brake max, cabin check, and takeoff config, right?
DECOM 429, contact
so
departure.
Let's knock out the cabin check.
Departure, DECOM 429.
That's fine. And then we'll do brakes max and takeoff config at normal. Systems are normal. Landing lights can come on, strobes can come on.
On 429, SoCal departure, radar contact, resume on navigation, climb VFR at your discretion.
Auto brake max, signs are on. Spoilers are, yeah, I armed them. Flaps, takeoff config, and we'll leave the packs. We'll turn the packs off in a moment. So we'll do tower 120.95, 125.2 is departure, so it doesn't show up on this plane for some reason. It shows up on my SATAC panel, but it doesn't show up here. It does show up when I switch it over, because see that? That's departure, and that's tower. So while we're down here, we make sure our takeoff is still the same. So the winds haven't changed, the temperature hasn't changed enough. So all of this still remains valid takeoff performance stuff. So we're good. Just call holding short at this point. Los Angeles Tower, United 1399, holding short 25 right.
And at 1399 Los Angeles Tower, runway 25 right, clear for takeoff.
25 right, clear for takeoff, United 1399. Alright, no one's coming. No one's gonna land. I don't see anyone. Turn the packs off.
On runway 25 right.
Engines 50% power. Make sure they're stable. That way one engine is not more powerful than the other one before you go to takeoff power. Which is set. As you can see here, 67. And I rotate at 154 knots. So V1, rotate. Positive rate. Gear can come up.
San Luis ground, Skyhawk 5528 Whiskey, so the east hangars, the Sierra, southeast departure.
We're above the
Cat 4 rating.
Alright, so autopilot on, climb thrust.
Number 5528 Whiskey, San Luis ground, runway 29er, taxi via Alpha.
There's no speed restrictions on the SID. So we're going to go to
departure.
over to departure, United 1399. So I'm just going to go manage mode on the speed. Switch over to departure, which is SoCal. SoCal departure, United 1399, Summer 1, coming via the SID, 3,200 for 5,000.
That is 1399. SoCal departure, radar contact, climb and maintain 13,000.
Climb maintain 13,000, United 1399. Alright. So the packs can come back on. Turn these spoilers off. Don't need terrain radar. And he basically gave us permission to ignore any of the altitude restrictions. So I took it out of manage mode so it will climb as fast as possible to 13,000 feet, 13,000. You say the thousands, 2,000, 1,000, 9,000. You say the thousands all the way till you get to the flight levels. So you don't say 18,000, you say flight level 180. So it's where the transition altitude changes, is when you go into flight levels compared to thousands. Thousands are strictly for altimeter settings. Unless the pressure was really low. Yeah, but even if the pressure is really low, oh, you can lose 180 per every inch of mercury that you lose a flight level. So we are actually under 29902, which is standard. So you're right, because since we are under standard, we actually lose flight level 180. So I would not be able to
contact LA Center 133.2.
LA Center 133.2, United 1399. So I would not be able to file flight level 180 because the altimeter setting is under standard. If it was another inch under, if it was like 28 something, then you'd lose 190. You'd lose 19,000 feet. 33.2. It's LA Center. Los Angeles Center and United 1399. 1000 for 3000.
United 1399, LA Center, climb maintain, follow 320.
Climb maintain, flight level 320, United 1399. Let's see.
.com 429, SoCal approach, roger. Lindbergh, altimeters 29902.
Climbing 290 knots. Turn off the landing lights above 10,000 feet. Lowest possible would be flight level 190. Correct. That's because it's 2990. So if this was 28.90, then you would lose flight level 180. If it was 27.90, then you would lose flight level 200. So every inch of mercury that is less than standard, which is 2992, you lose a flight level. So even though this shows 29, you still lose 180. It has to be 29.92 or above to keep 180. So that's a very good point, Fiverr. Thank you for bringing that up to, because not everybody knows that, at least in the sim world, and maybe even some real pilots don't know it, because you think most PPL would do VFR if they don't have a certification to fly into the Class Alpha airspace. They might not realize that because they're constantly setting their altimeter and they're flying under 180, so they're only worrying about the thousands. So maybe even some real pilots, you know, not to pick on any real pilots, but maybe some people out there wouldn't know that if they don't regularly fly in Class Alpha airspace. That's the only time that it applies.
Niner Alpha November, quick CLA Class 12 airspace, be the coastal route, maintain VFR 5500, LA altimeter 2990.
He's climbing, but I'm climbing faster. He's 5 miles in front of me, but he's underneath me.
November 5 Papa Whiskey, contact point to approach 124.7.
He's almost 2,000 feet below me. There he is. That's the TCAS. That's the TCAS working for you. Interesting that ATC didn't tell me anything about it. Alright, so we go to standard, we're above 18,000. Let me lower this. ATC should have told me about that aircraft, because that was pretty close, and that plane was climbing. I was just climbing faster, but I was keeping an eye on it, so I could have, you know, diverted off this flight path to avoid. And I guess in real life you probably would change the direction. I would just go to heading mode and redirect myself out of the path. Alright, let me see what I missed here. I didn't know that, but then I have yet to climb that high in any aircraft I have been piloting. Yep, and that's just my point. Because, you know, pilots like M9, you know, real world pilots, they don't fly in Class A airspace. In most cases, especially for pilots that are in the Northeast, you know, they don't want to be an IFR because they get vectored all over the darn place, and it's just, it takes you twice as long to get anywhere in the Northeast to do IFR. So you'd be better off doing flight following. That way you have radar services, but even flight following is always going to be under Class Alpha. It's always going to be in the thousands, underneath 18,000. So Yeah, so you know, you would never really have to know that unless you start flying in these upper elevations. The only reason I know that is because I fly in these upper airspace all the time on the sim. Alright, so let's check out the pressure. Cabin pressure's fine. We're climbing. Turn the seatbelt to auto. Turn off that sign. I do IFR on long flight, but most aircraft I fly simply don't get that high. Oh, yeah. I mean, you can do IFR for lower altitudes. I'm just saying, like IFR, if you are above 18,000 feet, you have to do an IFR, as you know that, but because that has to be under radar services. You don't have a choice above 18,000. But you know, most planes, like you say, they might be able to reach 18,000 feet, but the performance would be like really bad. You might just be chugging along. So it would actually be faster to fly lower where you have thicker air and the propellers have more air to grab than the thin air way up here. But that's why these turbojets do so well at the higher altitudes, because it's compressed air. It's not a prop.
Number 7700 Charlie, Palm Springs clearance, say again.
But I mean, yeah, just about most of my flights are IFR. I'd say 10% of the flying I do on the sim is VFR. And if I do VFR, I typically will request flight following.
770 Charlie,
but most of my turboprops I fly, well, like the Saab I fly in, was it class G, I think? Not sure about the G one. But I always file IFR. But then again, when I fly the Saab, I'm flying commercial. And anytime you file a commercial flight plan, you know, United or FedEx, any type of commercial airline, it's usually within the airline's policy that you have to file an IFR. Unless you can get a piece of the jet stream eastbound, and then it's worth climbing up there in a piston. You know, stuff like that I don't even think about. That would be cool. You know, that's how they make it across overseas. You know, they get in the jet streams, because the jet streams are going at like hundreds of miles an hour, or knots, whatever you want to call it. And when the jets, like, they're going like 300, say they have a ground speed of 400, and then as soon as they enter that jet stream, that ground speed just went up to like 600 to 700 miles an hour or knots, just because they entered the jet stream. That would be cool. I don't know if X-Plane simulates jet streams really well, or if the I guess the global real weather connector thing that I use, that might use the jet streams, but or that might insert a jet stream. That'd be kind of neat, but I don't do any long distance stuff. This is pretty much the longest stuff I do, around 300 miles in an airliner, maybe 350 tops.
Number 5 Papa Whiskey Roger.
But that would be cool to get into the jet stream. What's your fastest ground speed in a jet stream, M9? I'm assuming you're using the SR-22 when you can get into a jet stream. There is a cargo airline that only files VFR, which is crazy. Well, I guess if you're carrying cargo instead of passengers, it might not be as important. But, you know, we had this discussion on one of my streams a while back about the necessity of filing an IFR flight plan with commercial. And we came to the conclusion after doing, you know, a brief research that it's not mandated by the FAA or the FAR or whatever these publications are that I really have not read that much in depth. I know just enough to make my sim experience pleasurable, but I am not a real-world pilot. I have no certifications other than the free online certifications I've gotten through the years. But we found out that the commercial, most of the commercial like United, Delta, they have it within their SOPs that they have to file an IFR, even if they're under 18,000 feet. So yeah, it doesn't it shocked me then because I thought all commercial had to file IFR, but then we were talking about like corporate stuff and these corporate pilots, little jet services, they don't have to file IFR. So yeah, it makes sense that some cargo companies wouldn't have to.
Stockholm 429, continue VFR
It's called Keyline?
4000, advise when you have the Lindbergh Airport.
Well, that's why.
About your 3 o'clock and 12 miles.
Keyline Air. No one wants to talk to them. It's funny.
Stockholm 429, roger. Proceed inbound for runway 27. November 9 Alpha, November, contact approach.
And that says, well, I've not yet tried it yet, but have been in a couple situations where I was showing 200 plus ground speed and a hefty tailwind with the SR-22. Yeah, that'd be cool.
November 895 Papa Whiskey, SoCal approach, roger.
Like, I wonder when the, like, what altitude the jet streams actually, there's jet streams that go across the United States, but I don't know, because they do that dip. So I think the jet stream that goes across the oceans are more streamlined. You know, they're more, you know, from, you know, a straight shot point A to point B. It's a little bit different, I think, in the U.S. because I always see the maps. That's a jet stream, you know, the Weather Channel. The jet stream is going down, or it's doing this S stuff. So for an airliner, what am I going to do? Climb up to 40,000 feet and then dip up and down? So I might be able to go in a jet stream and then come back out of it, and maybe I'll notice, you know, my ground speed changing. But this is an average ground speed, 435 knots for this altitude.
Stockholm 429, Lindbergh Tower, roger. Continue straight in, wind 200 at 7. Runway 27, clear to land.
Alright, so we're at a cruise altitude, so I'm going to update the winds. Update, insert all the winds. That will update all my times and everything. So we'll be on the ground at 2031. So we'll be on the ground in half hour, maybe quicker. Alright, so let's see what D8 is. I cheat if the airport has D8, which is a, how would you describe D8, Fiverr? It's basically a text. So airliners can pick up D8 in the air even if they're not close enough to pick up the recording by radio station. And I know San Francisco has a D8, so I look it up even though I'm probably too far to hear it. I mean, I'll punch it in, but I think we're too far away, but we are kind of high. 118.85 is San Francisco's ATIS. So it's showing up over here. We'll see if I hear it. No, we're too far away. So I'll check it when I get closer, but currently they have D8's information. Charlie, they're landing on the 28s.
Santa Maria Tower, roger, on a right downwind, runway 30.
We're using ILS and visual approaches. We're going to do an ILS approach. And the altimeter is 3000. So that's just planning ahead. Usually I would do a second flight plan, but I'm not going to worry about it on this case. So we can always pretend we got a complaint from a passenger in the forward part of the cabin. It says it's getting warm or whatever, so we can go to temperature, pop that out. We'll lower the temperature to 22 Celsius, which is 71.5 Fahrenheit. And then that will start to cool things down. We'll be going to Oakland, 127.45. More than likely, Oakland Center will be the next.
That's 99258, Camarillo ground, runway 26, next to be at Foxtrot Alpha.
Alright, so waypoint wise, let's look at Stoked. So we'll come over to our flight report. We'll come down to Stoked. So that shows estimated fuel on board 8.1, and that's in kilograms. So that would no, that's pounds. I have it backwards. So 8,100 pounds would be 3.6 kilograms fuel. 3.6. Let me put that back. So if we were to come down here for Stoked, we're at 3.7 for our fuel. So we are in line with the flight report. So our fuel is good. I'm going to check real world ops, which is called FlightAware. In the real world, you can request it through the McDo, and it prints a little slip of paper with the info on it. Yeah, see, that's why I simulate it when I'm in my airliners. So I can look it up on the PilotEdge. Here, I'll show you where I look it up at. For those of you that don't have PilotEdge. So you come here, you go to ATIS, and this basically takes place of D-ATIS, so you just type it in, and then you can find out the current ATIS.
Number 228, Quebec, Lindbergh clearance,
and it'd be D-ATIS. It doesn't show D-ATIS.
Stockholm 429 at Bravo 4.
Should show on the airport.
And via Charlie 4 and Charlie to the ramp for maintenance frequency.
Should show on this. Yeah, see that says D-ATIS right here. That's when I know I can simulate it. Like Fiverr says, you can get a text. So as long as I have that, I can cheat and look ahead. That's how I do it.
United 1399, contact Oakland Center 127.45.
Oakland Center 127.45, United 1399. Have a good day.
Number 228.
I guess you didn't want to answer me. That's fine. Alright, so we're at 127.45. Afternoon, Oakland Center, United 1399, flight level 320.
United 1399, Oakland Center, descend via the Surfer 3 arrival.
Descend via the Surfer 3 arrival, United 1399. I got a little wow. So here's another thing. Before I look at the chat again, he said descend via the Surfer 3 arrival. So I'm currently at flight level 320, right? I would not be allowed to descend, even if I'm at my top of descent, until I'm given clearance to descend. Well, he gave me that clearance, but I'm not ready to descend yet, so I don't have to. But if I don't descend as soon as I acknowledge the descent, then I need to let him know when I'm leaving 320. So I'll let him know in about 40 miles when I descend that I'm actually descending. If you check out, actually let me see what I missed. Oh yeah, so the D8 is in most of today's airliners. And I think eventually they'll incorporate it into top descent is after stoked. Okay. It's out here by Surfer. I think in time Flight Factory will be able to import these D8s because PilotEdge has allowed a code for the airplane developers to allow the D8s to be ported into the McDo. So you should be able to go in here and get maybe ATC COM or whatever button would do it. But eventually that'd be cool. Let me see what I missed. So M9 says, if you check out windy.com, you can see winds at various flight levels. Oh. So right now, for instance, let's say I'm flying from Iowa to Philly at 14,000. I could pick up a 45 knot tailwind in the 22. That would get me 200 plus ground speed. And that would be definitely something that I would be wanting to do, like to save fuel too. So if you file a flight plan for 11 or 12,000 for that direction, then you might want to reconsider and fly at 14,000. You would save fuel, you go faster. In GA aircraft with ADSB, you can get meters in the cockpit. Oh yeah, that's that new program, like you can get on tablets and stuff, I think. Or is it something that you use in the actual airplane? Or is it like an iPad, like for flight? Does it show up on that? XM weather? Yeah, that'd be cool. Alright, coming up to top of descent. Yeah, I think eventually they'll be able to get that type of technology, M9, within the sims too. That would just be really cool. I do see that happening in the future. I'm going to put in San Francisco's weather, so we're looking at 30.00. Temperature is 18 Celsius and winds 80 at 5. And then we'll double check that when we get lower. And we'll make sure all of our instruments are in the green. Fuel's even. Well, this one's a little bit heavier. That should change to that one shortly. It's showing 22 Celsius in the forward, 24 in the back. Alright, so we're coming up on our top of descent soon. So the lowest I can descend. So we could look at the that's the SID, that's the airport. So in arrival, we're doing the Surfer 3. So the lowest I can go until we're cleared and approach is 6,000 feet. So I'm going to set the MCP for 6,000 feet. Because that's the lowest that the star, the arrival, allows us to descend. But we have to keep in mind, we'll be in manage mode to hit all these altitude and speed restrictions on the way down, and we'll make sure that we are hitting all of those. I'll leave that off there. Let the crew know we'll be descending. I like realism. I have a heck of a headwind. That's why it's taken so long. 65 knot headwind, so that's what we were talking about. So let's say this was reversed. You could add 66. Well, those are knots, but I would basically, if the wind was behind me, you could add 67 knots to the TAS, I think. So that'd be like almost what, 600 knots if we were going the other way. True airspeed. This headwind is killing me here. So ADSB is a mandate for all GA aircraft this year. I read an article about it last year that it was coming into play soon. I don't know much about it because it's not simulated anywhere, so, and being that I'm not a real world pilot, I don't know much about it. It is mainly for traffic awareness, kind of like a TCAS, okay. But has a component of weather as well. That's awesome. So you can then see a destination weather in the cockpit either via the avionics G1000 suit or ForeFlight if you can stream to your iPad. That'd be cool.
The hood 4 landing east, thanks, Alaska 2490.
But with ForeFlight, I know that the simmers that use ForeFlight's a subscription, and you know, let me start my descent. I'm close enough. I'm gonna start now. So where am I at? 320. I'm with Oakland Center, United 1399, leaving 320.
Yeah, 1399.
So I'm gonna let him know I'm leaving 320. I'm gonna start a descent in manage mode. We'll put on our restraints to show the altitude and such. But yeah, ForeFlight's it's a subscription, so yes, I could use it, but I don't want to because I already pay PilotEdge. And then, sure enough, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 will come out, and they're going to probably want a subscription, so I'm going to have to pay for that subscription. So I'm not going to pay for 3, subscriptions, especially when like Navigraph charts, it's not as good as ForeFlight, but it's pretty close compromise, and you have to pay for Navigraph charts anyway. So I won't pay for ForeFlight. I know there's a lot of simmers out there that have it, but a lot of the simmers that have it, like Cat Strader, for example, he's a real world pilot, so he can use it in the real world. So then it would make sense. But if you're not a real world pilot, why pay that subscription? Because it's not cheap. And the TBM has it. The ADSB. So the TBM has it for like next rad, I think. Is that what you're talking about? So it will display the rain, or is it a different feature? Because I'm not sure where on the TBM I would find a button for ADSB, unless they call it something different, but does maybe similar things. You would not have it if you didn't fly IRL? Yeah. The TBM has the ability to see the METARs? Yes. So when you go to the TBM menu for charts, it's within those charts that have a tab for weather. So you can click on the weather button and bring up the METAR for whatever airport in the world. That is a cool feature, you're right.
1399, contact NorCal approach 121.3.
NorCal 121.3, United 1399, see it.
Alaska 2490, contact Portland approach 124.35.
When you get ATIS, we are on NorCal.
Contact clearance delivery, advise on course heading, altitude, and if flight following is requested. Read back all runway assignments and hold short instructions. Advise on initial contact you have information, Charlie.
Alright, we're still with Charlie. That means the D-ATIS that I got was fine.
San Francisco International Airport. ATIS information, Charlie.
So, I'll call in with NorCal. NorCal approach, United 1399, descending via the Surfer 3, leaving flight level 242, current with Charlie. Request ILS 28 left approach.
Yeah, 1399, NorCal approach, San Francisco altimeter 29er, you can expect that.
29er, and I can expect that. United 1399, thanks. Alright, so, we're going to expect a 28 left. So, 28 left, ILS 109.55, already got that in, so radio 109.55, course heading at 284, and that's
2490, Portland approach, expect the visual approach, runway 10 left.
Expect the visual 10 left, thanks, Oscar 2490.
ILS 28 left. (109.55), 284, so that is accurate. And here we are. Make sure we are slowing to 28 knots, 280. Put that there. Without the engines being full bore, I can turn them down. So you can check altitudes and everything here by this button, or you can also verify as the star. So waves, we need to be between 15,000 and flight level 190 at 280 knots. So that's what the computer will do. M9 says, but essentially how the meter gets into the avionics is either ADSB or XM in real life. In the sim, they're just reading the weather and printing out the meter. Yeah. You know, with the amount of technology that's out there, I mean, it's only a matter of time before they start implementing more real world stuff into the sim. So it's going to happen. I'm gonna not I'm glad I got all my ortho done because I'm not buying any more ortho. I feel it's gonna be a waste. I know Microsoft Flight Simulator is gonna pretty much, you know, they're gonna have nothing but ortho. So why should I buy ortho for X-Plane? Now I'll still buy airports and stuff because I think it's gonna be a long time, on my personal opinion, with Microsoft before they have everything available that X-Plane has with the aircraft and everything that the aircraft can do. But once they get caught up with systems in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, then I'll be doing a full switch over. But I really do see myself doing like 75% X-Plane for a long time to come and 25% Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator, until they, you know, get all their ducks in a row, because right now they won't be able to touch the avionics that X-Plane has. They have the world down pat, you know what I mean? So, am I going to buy it? Yeah. I'm not going to be the beta. I don't want to do the beta stuff. So, once it comes out, I'll get it. And like I said, most of my flying will still be X-Plane for streaming purposes with a light Microsoft Flight Simulator. And then I think over time, it's going to do one of these numbers. I'm going to slowly get out of X-Plane and be ramping up Microsoft. And that will also allow me the knowledge of where Microsoft is going, as in, are they going to be around for a while?
You got inside Alaska 2490.
Alaska 2490, good visible approach, runway 10 left.
Alright, so 28 left. We can do program.
10 left, Alaska 2490.
SSO 28 left. We'll plug that in. We're 56 miles away. Just basically right up here. Max landing weight 65 tons. We're at 60.5, so that's plenty. I really hope they don't mess up 2020. Well, the fact that they have a 100-man team, and they are very, the word that they use, not translucent. They're not keeping too many secrets, and they're really trying to listen to the community. It gives me hope that they'll have a good sim, but you know, that's why I came up with my own plan to transition, because I'm going to do a slow transition, very slow, just to make sure that I don't put too much money into something that might just go away a year after they put it out. But you know, they got over 100 people working on this thing, and X-Plane has got like 8 people. Laminar Research has got like 8 people. So I really think, you know, it's got very, very good potential. I'm looking forward to trying it. So we'll see how it goes. I don't need ATIS again. Turn on terrain mode for the heck of it. Transparent, yeah. I couldn't think of the word. I really hope it's not a subscription. I hope it's a one-time purchase and then also add-on aircraft. Yeah, that's going to be their biggest hurdle if they go with a subscription base. So I think if they do a subscription, they're going to try to justify it in some way. So, and this is just me brainstorming. I have no inside sources. I haven't talked to anyone, but I think...
Yeah, 1399, contact NorCal approach 135.65.
NorCal approach 135.65, United 1399. 3565. NorCal approach, United 1399. Surfer 3 leaving 12600.
Yeah, 1399, NorCal approach cleared ILS runway 28 left approach.
Cleared ILS 28 left approach, United 1399. So what I'm thinking they're going to do is they're going to drop it for whatever price. $100, $200, maybe $150. I think it's going to be over $100. And this is why I say that. I don't think they're going to start with a subscription. I think they're going to do a high price tag as their launch. And then down the road, they're going to add some sort of subscription to cover whatever they need to cover. That's what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to have an extremely high purchase, like maybe even $200. I mean, that's just me thinking. I don't know squat. But that's just me brainstorming. I think it'll be an expensive out the gate purchase, and then maybe they'll add a subscription down the road for cheap subscription, like maybe $10 a month for their continuous online supports or something. I don't know what they're going to do, but it'd be interesting. It's going to be interesting to watch it unfold for sure. It's very exciting. No matter what they do, it's going to be an exciting time. I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah, I saw the most recent video that the one that was on Frugal's news release is a 30-minute video, and I guess the video that he was using in the background for his story was the one that they released, and I guess the video is like a 45-minute video, teaser video, and it looks really neat. I mean, it's definitely the next generation of flight simming. I mean, poor LR, they won't be able to compete with that unless they really do something, down the road. LR is going to be safe for a while because there's just so many things in X-Plane that can be done right now that I think on launch Microsoft won't be able to do, like, an Airbus with this type of system depth. They're not going to have that at launch. So X-Plane is going to be fine for a while, but then they're going to have to figure out something to keep up with that. They're probably just hoping that Microsoft will flop and bail out like they have in the past. It's probably what they're hoping for. But yeah, it looks amazing. It's just mind-blowing how realistic it is. I mean, the guys created, to me, how I described it to my wife is the guys created a simulator of a planet. And then Microsoft came in and they said, well, let's add airplanes to your planet simulator. So the people did a simulator of a planet with the weather and just how the planet evolves and all this cool stuff. And then Microsoft was like, hey, we can use this. And I'm sure there's going to be a ton of other companies that want access to that technology. And, eventually they'll have all this technology and they're just going to make, whoever that company is that made the Earth world, they're just geniuses. When 20.5 is tower. Two seatbelts full on. Flaps 2. Oh, duh.
Alpha 2490 Alpha Victor, kilo to the ramp, this frequency, good day.
I was like, why am I going any lower? Forgot to reset the... He cleared me the approach, so I was allowed to go under 6,000. Brain fart. Go ahead and arm the spoilers to auto brake on low. Put that on ILS. Arm localizer. So missed approach for 28 lift. Be climb to 4,000 on a heading of 275 to 15 DME and hold. Continue to climb and hold to 4,000. So we'll just reset the MCP to 4,000. Flaps 3, gear down. Glide slope is captured. Now we can put that to 4,000 for mist. Check our perf. So 30. It's actually
1399, contact San Francisco Tower.
Over to tower, United 1399, see ya. 19 and 030. 3. 20.5. San Francisco Tower, United 1399, establishing a localizer, 28 left.
1399, San Francisco Tower, runway 28 left, clear to land, wind 0203.
28 left, clear to land, United 1399. Alright, so let's do... landing gear, signs, spoilers are armed, flaps down. Good. And I'm going to want terminal 3. Yeah, terminal 3. So we'll do a cabin check. Slow down. flaps full. First thing you're going to do is hop in a 172 and fly right to your house. Yeah, that's what I'm reading, or not reading. That's what I was seeing in those videos is people legitimately, like Frugal. He said he was able, I think he said he was able to do that. To where he flew right to his house. Was it Frugal? It might have been Flight Chops. There's a Flight Chops channel. He's a real-world pilot, and most of his videos is real-world stuff, but he's just now starting to get into simming stuff. He's already had a couple of videos with Keith from PilotEdge, and he's getting more into the simulation stuff, which is really cool. I like watching his videos. He does a lot of mostly real-world stuff, Flight Chops, so guys check him out too. Alright, autopilot off.
300.
Shouldn't have to do much, and it should just keep on going the way it's doing. I shouldn't have to adjust. Oh, it's got a little bit of a right crosswind, so compensate for that.
Minimum 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, retard 20, 10, 5.
Long landing, 8,000 feet remaining.
I could have made it softer, but it's alright. Uncomfortable landing.
Sector 299, exit left Alpha to the ramp this frequency, good night.
Exit left Alpha to the ramp with you, United 1399, we'll see you. Alpha is straight ahead. This is Bravo. I flared too early. I mean, this thing is so hard for me to flare with that auto trim. But I do like the landing calculator, the plug-in. It's actually a lot better than the old version that I had. This version is much more accurate, so like I said, it was an uncomfortable landing. I'm happy with anything less than 300, so that was a little bit more of a hard landing than I would try to get with this airplane. Alright, APU is verified on. Shut down the engines. Turn off the taxi lights. Start the onboarding. Turn down the APU. Turn that off. Come up here, we'll turn off the fuel pumps. Nemesis. Hey Gizmo. Yes, this is my Nemesis. My favorite plane is also my Nemesis. That makes no sense. In the real world, Fiverr says in the real world that would be considered a great landing, right? Yeah. A great landing, a good landing is any landing you can walk away from. A great landing is one that you can reuse the airplane. So I didn't break anything on the airplane, so that's what counts for that one. All right, so let's sign off.
Disconnected.
So that way, when I do the replay, it won't show me back in the air on the controller's scope. But yeah, I definitely did not do a good enough job at flaring. The weather on Microsoft Flight Simulator is like, look at the difference. It's crazy. DCS though, DCS has awesome water. Thud. I didn't blow any tires. Yeah, I could have flared, like, I could have pulled back a second time and that would have been well within the 200 feet per minute range. Let's do one more. I think I'm doing it too early. That flyby. Probably need to do it right after the numbers. See, I was starting to go off to the right because of the little bit of a crosswind. Sounds are back up, so we're good there. It was good in the flare, but you reduced the thrust too quick. Well, that time I didn't. I noticed I've been reducing the throttle at 100 feet, but I don't do that anymore. I wait till about 30. So the problem is I flared too much and then I was at idle. So I could have pulled back a second time and I would have pitched up a little bit more and it would have made a softer landing. But no, I had done the retard or whatever they call it with the throttle at 30 feet. So I finally did that part right. In the end, after the flare. Yeah, no, I think I started to pull back. I don't remember, but this is the only plane that I can't get. Well, on my King Air, if there's a hefty crosswind, that's a bear. That thing feels so heavy. If it's a hefty crosswind or gusty, that King Air is hard. But that was a good talk, guys. I enjoyed this one. I figured it'd be a lot to talk about with all this news coming out yesterday. But yeah, I will catch you all tomorrow, I think. Yep, I'll see you all tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel, and maybe I'll do some FS Economy tomorrow. see what the weather looks like. Today I wanted a nice weather ride. So I will find some FS Economy, not FS Economy, some real world San Francisco ATC streaming stuff for y'all. Have fun. Have a good one, Chase. You too, Fiverr. Gizmo, you have a good night. M9. Thank you again, guys, for all the renewing on the subscriptions. That means a lot to me. One thing I'm going to do when I get my first check from Twitch, which will probably take a couple more months, but I'm going to use the first check to put back into the stream. So the streaming stuff I'm using right now, like the end of stream, the beginning of stream, and my overlays, they're all free. So first thing I'm going to do is buy a really cool stream package with the money I get from the first check. But like I said, I'm not doing this for the money, and it's going to take quite a while because Twitch doesn't pay out until you reach a certain number. Then once you reach that number, then they send you one check. So I have to wait till the balance gets that high, and it's going to take a while. But I want to let you guys know that I will be using the money to put back into the stream to make it more aesthetically pleasing looking. It should be fun. Add some fun stuff to it. So anyway, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will catch y'all tomorrow. See y'all later. Chase out.
Southwest 863.
Oakland, America 1312 with you at a 8.9 for 15,000.
America 1312, northbound, good afternoon, call maintain for 190.
So 190, America 1312.
Hot 2.
Southwest 1279, contact Oakland Center 125.85.
2585, Southwest 1239.
Northbound departure, Houday, America 369.
United 1961, contact North Approach 124.32.
124.32. Mexico 669, north departure radar contact, good afternoon, maintain 4,000. 4,000 only, please, for Travis.
Maintain 4,000, America 669.
Southwest 863, terminal 220.
220, Southwest 863.
United 869 Heavy, contact Oakland Center 125.85. Good day.
125.85 and 8869 Heavy, good day.
NorCal departure, good afternoon, Air Canada 756, climbing through 900 for flight level 190.
Air Mexico 669, turn left heading at 250, maintain 5,000.
Heading 250 and maintain 5,000, America 669.
NorCal, can you say it again, the frequency for United 1961? 669, heading 280, sorry about that, 280 landing, please.
Heading 280, America 669.
Antenna 26, contact NorCal approach 135.1.
American 1312, turn right for Cedar Tippery, please.
Antenna 26, have a great day.
Directly to Tippery, American 1312.
Air Mexico 669, maintain 10,000. 1010,000, Aeromexico 669.